Well, I'm excited about today's interview. It's with Southern Miss Football's Director of Player Personnel. And he's doing an incredible job. In 2024, the recruiting class is one of the best in G5. So with all that said, I'm bringing you the one and only Joe Moreno. Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Marchette. I really appreciate you having me on here. We're fired up to get this season rolling and just excited to get the fans as involved as possible in 2024.
Yeah, and everybody's so proud of the job you're doing. And Joe, we just had some sad news, some very tragic news, and it really hit me to the core. I still got a heavy heart. The passing of MJ Daniels last week. And I just got to ask you, man, how's the team? How's the staff? How are you doing, man?
I'm really proud of the team, despite how tragic, absolutely tragic this is. They have maintained focus as best as they can on the task at hand. But it's been rough. It's been hard on a lot of people. Myself, I still can't exactly wrap my head around it. It's still hard to believe. Um, but yeah, MJ, what rings so true is the infectious smile that he had. He just had a crazy way of brightening everybody's day up, and we'll always remember that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And my thoughts, prayers have been with you guys. And I hadn't heard one bad thing about MJ Daniels. So just tragic news. And I love the support that's come out though from the community. And
Absolutely,
one of those times where it's bigger than football. And
100%. Yes,
but just want to check in on you guys, man, because always thinking about you. So, but
thank you.
rest in peace, MJ. That's for sure. So, but Joe, we'll talk about you getting a recruit, man. You yourself from New Jersey,
Yeah,
Jersey guy, man, and you played
yeah.
college football at Trinity. So you know what it takes to be a good college football player. So do you find you having that expertise for playing helps you carry over into what you're looking for in a recruit?
Well, I don't know if I would consider myself a good football player. I was out there. I was definitely out
Let's
there.
run with good, man. Great, great.
But yeah, I would say it definitely helps to some extent. And definitely being able to have that experience and kind of see it firsthand on the field definitely helps you at least start a foundation or a baseline. But really, once you start studying the tape and evaluating from an outside perspective, I think it's just as important to, I don't think you have to play in order to do it, but I do think being able to have that firsthand experience helps you with a lot of motivation or intangible factors as well that go into playing the game.
Oh, awesome. I can imagine, you could have just playing the game. You know what you're looking for a lot in an athlete. So, but Southern Miss. So, like I said, 2024, the landscape of recruiting is a little different than 97 when I was recruited. So, what are some of the biggest selling points you have for a recruit on why Southern Miss?
Yeah, absolutely. I think with our footprint, it helps us a lot because despite, 1997, there's that rings true. Southern Miss, nasty bunch, the tradition, the history here, it it echoes through generations. Whether it's people's parents that in the heyday or grandparents or whatever, there's so many roots that travel from the generations that it's still a strong name at Southern Miss. So there is an identity, but I also think something that draws people here is come be a part of this rebuild. When we started, we knew it was going to be a longer process. Uh, make an instant impact here. And when guys walk through our facility, they see all the names of the guys that played in the NFL. They see the Ray Guy, the Brett Favre, the Adelius Thomases, the Marshawn Kennys. They see all that juice up there. So I think really getting kids to campus and getting them to see our coaches, our coaching style, that works out so much in our favor when we get to see kids in person.
I appreciate that, man, because around the Kenny household, they've heard about the 97 stories about 1,000 times. I'm tired of it. Appreciate you solidifying all that.
Absolutely.
But,
Absolutely.
recruiting, man, it's such a unique deal in 2024, like I said. And on top of that, you've got two new schemes on the offensive side and the defensive side too. You got to
Right.
deal with new offensive coordinator Chip Long, new defensive coordinator Clay Bignell. So with that said, with recruiting right now and during this offseason, are you looking for players to fit their schemes, or are you looking for the best just overall talent?
Yeah, overall, philosophically, you look for the best overall talent. However, there are some tweaks in some things that we do. So, for example, defensively this year, there have been some changes to our scheme clearly, and one of the positions, for example, what we used to look for in our nickel was a slot corner type body type skill set. Now we've transitioned to more of a hybrid linebacker safety. So for all of you that used to watch Clemson, an Isaiah Simmons type of player at that position, which is what Dylan Lawrence will be playing for us this year. So that's a little bit different. We have to factor into that. Offensively, to me, and I think it fits well with Chip's scheme, is just best player available, get the best talent in. And, when you have coaches like Coach Long and Coach Bignell, they're going to find a way to fit that player to their scheme, as opposed to let's pigeonhole ourselves and only be able to recruit these type of guys.
Oh, I love it too. And one thing too about Coach Long's scheme, I just heard a rumor maybe the tight end here and there might be utilized a little more, might be looked at. And I've always said we need to use the tight end more. There's always been a big supporter of the tight end position.
Yeah.
So that tight end position, if you don't mind talking about it, I know we've got some good looks in recruiting there.
Yeah. I think that's one of the easiest positions that you could create a mismatch on the field at. You want to find a guy that is a little bit more skillful than the linebacker that's trying to cover them, and also more powerful than the safety or the slot that's going to try to cover them. So being able to create a mismatch there, you see it in the NFL with, guys like Kelsey, like Gronk, those type of guys. If you could find that, very difficult to find, especially at the group of 5 level. But I think we've done a good job with some of these guys we have: Justin Reed, Reed Jezelowski, Kyron Heath, Teron Bedford, that can help create those mismatches. And like you said, Coach Long's offense, historically at Notre Dame, you have a lot of 2 tight end sets, a lot of 12 personnel. And I think you're definitely going to see that for Southern Miss this year.
And I just bring that up because, I played linebacker, and when you had to do play action plays, you're playing the run, and all of a sudden here comes this big 6'6", 6'5" guy who can run, and he shoves you off. I'm just glad to hear the big guy, the tight ends being used a little bit more. That's the plan. So.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, 2024, keeping the theme going. It's a unique time, and obviously we're back in the day recruiting. But NIL and transfer portal.
Yes,
so
sir.
First up, I want to talk about the NIL and recruiting there. Do you find there's a theme with recruits now overall that look for what Southern Miss can do for me versus what I can do for Southern Miss? If you don't mind just talking about that vibe.
Yeah, I think there's always been a sense of that too, even before NIL. A lot of times through the recruiting process, you're talking about, hey, this is what the university can do for you in terms of networking. This is where people go into this business, go into this company. These are the connections that we have. So we used to sell that a little bit to an extent, but now you're right. The NIL component creates a new way of giving back to the athlete. And you do see that in recruiting. Doesn't take over a group of 5 to an extreme level, but there are certainly more of, hey, what's the NIL situation that you could help me with here at Southern Miss? And it's different to navigate. I'll be honest, when it first came about, I was a little cautious with it. But if you don't attack it head on, like Coach Hall doing, like we're doing here, I think you can very easily get behind in recruiting. So we're taking the approach where we're all in on it. Hence, this to the top collective situation we're dealing with right now and getting rolling.
Burgers and Blues. Burgers, craft beer, music. Downtown Hattiesburg.
Hey, but Joe, let's get to it right now. Nothing more important right now than To the Top Collective and joining that. So if you don't mind hitting the cap as well. So if you don't mind hitting on To the Top Collective, our NIL, and just stressing the importance of it right now.
Absolutely vital, critical. It's our bloodline right now to our recruiting and our evaluation process. So, whatever you can do to help, it's vitally important to the success of this program and for the future of this program. So I strongly encourage you to do whatever you can to help in any way that you can. And even if you think, you don't have a ton of money to do it, whatever you can do is what we would absolutely love and appreciate you to do.
Yeah, very appreciative of those who join, but I like to put things in perspective. The cost of joining is the cost of a fast food run. Okay,
that's correct.
I know. If you have the means,
yeah,
for a fast food run, just maybe eat a peanut butter jelly sandwich there. So just it
exactly
help the program.
Right.
Come on,
exactly
come
right.
on.
Don't stop and cook out on your way home.
Just eat peanut butter jelly for lunch at one time, and then join the collective.
Exactly.
Hey,
yes,
Joe,
sir.
Recruiting for you is 365 days a year. When you're on vacation, I don't believe you're vacationing, man. I don't believe
that's right.
You ever take one anyway. So, but keeping up with everything going on, transfer portal, NIL, this and that. What are some resources that you use the most to just keep up?
Yeah, we have a bunch of different recruiting softwares that we utilize that, kind of streamline their way right to our email. And like you said, there's no days off. Even when you're on vacation, you're fielding a phone call from a coach or a high school coach or a recruit or, whatever it may be, getting an email. So constantly checking your email for any, tracker, any offer tracker type situation, anybody that popped out of camp. That's something we look at. I lean a lot on our staff here. Landon Smith for me has been my right-hand man for 4 years now. And I wouldn't be able to do this without him. I wouldn't be as successful as we are in recruiting without him. And he does an incredible job, as well as Dakota Wild, who does a lot of our operation stuff, and Bradley Horn too. So really leaning on this staff. Everybody's on top of it every day. And that helps you a lot in the long.
Oh yeah, no, just all the checks and balance systems. I can't even imagine. It does probably take computer software to keep up, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
And stay organized with it. So, I want to talk about the transfer portal too right now, and just kind of, just talk about the vibe. I mean, all of a sudden you get alerted somebody's in the portal, whatever means that is, and they fit a need for you. Walk me through that process, or maybe getting their attention. How you get them looking at Southern Miss?
Yeah, typically we have two different buckets. We'll have our needs, and we're going to look at every player that fits our need. And also we're going to look at every player that's in our footprint that we likely have had previous recruiting relationship with after they get into the portal. So those are kind of the two separate buckets that we work with. And once they hit the portal, we'll reach out to them and kind of get their story of, why they entered, what they're looking for. But that's just the first part of the process. We'll reach out to every coach that we know is connected to that player, whether it's their college coach, their high school coach, usually both. Try to get more of a background on the player, because honestly, a lot of people can watch the tape and identify the talent, what talent level this guy is, but finding if they're going to be a fit in the culture that we have going here is equally as important, because you see some people in the transfer portal, they'll get in, they'll go to a new school, and they'll be back in, shortly after, or it just won't work out. So thinking about, what kind of guy can we bring in, not only adding value on the field, but it's going to be a fit in the locker room and going to help increase the morale of the program.
Man, you hit on a great subject right there. I was going to ask one more question about the portal. I'll get to it real quick, but you said culture at Southern Miss. Wins or losses, put that to the side. You cannot deny there's an incredible culture at Southern Miss. I mean, the tragic news we got last week and the rallying around it from the community and, just the support and things like that. Talk about this culture, because that's something you can really sell at Southern Miss.
Yeah. And it's really a top-down reflection of the leader. And I've been around a lot of great college coaches, I've never believed in someone more than I believe in Will Hall. He will be there for your kid, regardless of the circumstance, whatever it may be, every high, every low. Coach Hall is there with you every step of the way. And I mean, it's pretty remarkable, once you see it firsthand. And there's a lot of people that talk the talk, but he is the guy that walks the walk. So,
Oh man, just one thing that's awesome. That's powerful what you said, and I myself found solace and the tragic news of MJ, with just knowing they got a guy like Coach Hall and even Mitch Williams, over there
yeah.
in
Oh
Team
my gosh,
Chapel,
brother Mitch. Yeah.
just guiding these young men through some really tough times. And but yeah, can't question the culture at Southern Miss. Just can't, man. So, but back on the transfer portal real quick. It can be good,
Mm-hmm.
it can be bad. I think everybody
Yeah.
who follows college football knows what I mean.
Yeah.
Joe, let's talk about some of the good. What's been good? Give me some of the good in the portal.
Yeah, I think some of the good is just some kids' circumstances are very different than others. A lot of times there's a situation where they might be sitting behind an all-conference player, and it might be a really good kid, a really great worker, and somebody that's going to be good, but the timetable of his career just doesn't match up. And he needs to get on the field at some point. He wants to play in the NFL, or he wants to play on Saturdays. And you can't blame the kid for wanting to play. And we have a lot of success with those players. So, for example, you think of a guy like Jaleel Clemens from Memphis. You think of Jalen Williams from Arkansas. You think of Tate from Florida State. And these are all guys that truly are instant impact players for us. And like I said, the way we attack the portal here, I think has helped us majorly in certain ways. And, I always think back to the 2022 Tulane game at Tulane. Our defensive line took over that game, and it was led a lot of the times led by Quentin Bivens and Jalen Williams.
Yeah, man, me and Angela, my wife, laugh about that game all the time because I was hugging everybody post game. I'm like, who needs a hug? Man, they're like, oh, here comes Marshan again. So what a great night, man. That was incredible. Yeah. But you stole a little bit of my thunder right there, man. Let's get to it. Most people that are diehard Southern Miss football fans want to know about this quarterback room. And in year 4, I can say this is the most talented room I've seen under Coach Hall. So, Tate Rodemaker, John White, and Ethan Crawford. So let's talk about the strengths of each one that you see. First up, if you don't mind talking about Tate Rodemaker.
Yeah, I think with Tate, the first thing that popped to us is the arm strength. He's got a very, very live arm, and he has experience at the Power 5 level, played in games. He's been successful in those games. And, watching him throw the ball around, you can tell he's just polished, and he's got a live arm that we haven't had here in quite some time, as you know.
Yep. And they talk about John White, man. You talk about potential.
Yeah.
Boy, he can make some throws.
Yeah, John is honestly one of the most mature guys we've ever seen come in here. I mean, he was 18 years old coming in here as technically a high school senior, early enroll, and came in here, always up here early for meetings, always trying to get extra in, trying to run practice like he's been here for 3 to 4 years already. He picks up the playbook quickly, and he's an operator. He knows exactly where to go with the football, and he's got some really impressive pre-snap ability already as a young kid. So the sky's the limit for John.
No, yeah, no way I'm forgetting Ethan Crawford too. I mean, he's got experience last year, multi-talented.
Yeah,
I mean, he can win the job just as easy as John and Tate. So let's talk about Ethan too, his strengths.
Yeah, Ethan is just absolutely electric. There's times when you can't tackle him on the field. And he's
a nightmare for linebackers like me back. Nightmare.
Yeah. Coach Bignell talks about him all the time. He's like, man, what are we going to do when he's on the field? How are we going to account for him? And there's something to that, when you have to account for the quarterback run, as you know, it could put you in a miserable place on Saturday. So he's got that arm that pairs well with it too. We saw when he played versus UL despite it not being a completed pass, that throw he had to Ty Mims where he launched it about 60 yards. He's got a rocket. So he's really coming along, and he could be a special player.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for talking about the quarterback room there, because it's got a microscope on it right now, but it is the most talented I've seen here
Yes.
for a room in 4 years. So, but Joe, as we kind of wrap things up, I know it's got a heavy heart right now with the passing to MJ Daniels, just an incredible young man. All our thoughts and prayers are with him. So I appreciate you so much for being on the show today, man.
Of course, of course.
So Joe, I mean, kind of as we do get to this close, I mean, 2024, it's year 4. I talked to Coach all about it. He knows, man, it's an important year. What's a message for the fans you have? Get us fired up, Joe.
Yeah. Well, as a staff, we're very aware of what this year means. Our backs are against the wall, and I want to say one thing, and I'm going to describe it this way. The fall is going to be explosive. We have a lot of explosive football players, and we have very physical football players. This is by far the most talented team we've ever had. This is all the players that we've recruited on this team. It's finally all coming to fruition. And I think the fans are going to really enjoy what they see this year. A lot of explosion.
I love it. Great message. And if Coach Big Nell's watching this, man, let's get this thing real nasty,
No doubt.
But Joe, once again, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Marchand. And can't wait to see all the fans.
Can't wait to see y'all in Kentucky, man. I can't get here soon enough. So I think a great way for a guy who's doing one heck of a job recruiting, Joe Moreno and myself. Let's give everybody a big Southern Miss.
To the top, baby.
To the top, baby.
To the top.